Welcome.
Forward button. Welcome, everybody. We have 10 minutes. I think we're good to get started. Thank you all that made it. So today we are doing a hands-on workshop to build a mobile publisher app. Pretty excited. I have wanted to play more with the mobile publisher app as they have continued to expand and put more into it. And they definitely have continued to do so over the past few releases, making it more stable and making it with more enhancements each and every time. There's always something that they've been adding. And one of the latest things that they've done is they've made it so that we have the preview for your mobile publisher app within the community and a beta with that, which is pretty cool. And second. We are going to be getting started by putting together a mobile publisher app together. We have scratchers to get us started that we're all going to be using to go from there. And I'm going to share my screen really quick here. All right. So on the actual event page, we have a link to a Quip doc. I'm also going to drop that into the chat for you all. And if I can figure out how to get my Zoom bar to show back up, there we go. For those of you that the Quip doc, and that has the instructions that we're going to be going through so that you don't have to just know them as I tell them to you. And then we also have a link to create a scratcher, and that'll have the actual package you need for mobile publisher already installed and some of the items set up. And it'll be just an easy way to get started and for us to get moving. And to jump right into it, for the actual Quip doc, I'm going to go and I'm actually going to hide the chat so that we can have the full screen here. There we go. Oh, another person. Welcome, welcome. I'm really quick going to drop into the chat for you the link to the Quip document to get started and the link to get started with the Scratch org. There you go. And we have not yet started building, so perfect timing, Rachel. Awesome. So when going through, your mobile publisher apps are a way to actually have your app for your community displayed on the Apple Store or the Google Play Store, depending on which type of device that you have. And you make your app separately. You actually make one app for the Apple iTunes Store and then one app for the Android Store. But by making the app, users have a single way for you to log into your community. And those changes that you're making when you are hitting publish within your community, when you're making those updates within Builder, those are going to show on your community right away versus creating a completely separate mobile app. Also, when you're inside your community builder, you may have noticed that recently you've had the ability to decide if you want something to show on mobile or if you want it to be desktop and mobile. By hiding those items on mobile, that also shows on your mobile publisher app as well. So we'll play around with some of that once we get our org started. So to get going, I mentioned in the instructions to have your mobile publisher playground installed on your device already. Those links are also posted here on the invite, and they should have been sent out in the first email as well. If you have an iPad or an iPhone, you're going to have 2 items you have to install. And if you have an Android phone, you're only going to have 1 item to install, or an Android tablet as well. Did everybody get those installed in advance, or did anybody need any help? Such a quiet group. Okay.
So I installed the, hi Meighan, I installed the test flight app. I need to install the playground app from
Yeah,
there.
no worries. Yeah. Let's chill for a minute and wait. So within these 2 separate apps is where you're actually going to do some of your image uploading and some of your setting up and your actual publishing of your app out to the store. It's just going to give you an idea of what it's like. You have a few different options when you actually publish, and a few different ways that you can actually make it so that you have your app available to people. The most common way to have an app out there, as you probably know, if you've ever installed your app, is to have it out there and available for everybody so anyone can install it. And that's just a standard public app. And that's with your public app distribution. And that's going to be done by the customer. In the future, they plan to have it available for Salesforce managed app distribution or public distribution for Android. Not quite available yet. They do have private Salesforce app distribution, which is where you are able to have your app and have an enterprise mobility management account via Google, which means you have to be a G Suite customer, or there's some ways around that, but it's usually easier to be a G Suite customer is what it sounds like. And then to go in and have an app installed for your business only, and for them to install, for only people that work there to install it. You can also have customer managed distribution, which is available for public and private, and that's where you're in charge of that distribution, and you can do that so it's available everywhere, or so it's available just for the people within your business. Now, one thing I noticed when I installed it on my Android device is that the actual the Playground app was getting updated continuously. I don't know if anybody that has a Apple device, maybe if you guys are getting less updates, but my app was updated pretty much every single day on an Android device for the Playground app.
It's doing the same thing. Every time I go into it, it says update again. So
yeah, definitely makes me a little bit curious as to what they are updating, because they're not all noticeable and there aren't really any changes. So I wonder if it's bug fixes in the background, or if it is enhancements. Definitely something I'm curious about. I don't know, and why it has to be every single day. Just seems like a lot of updates.
So Meighan, I have a quick question.
Go for it.
I'm in the test flight, but I can't find, how do I search for playground app in the test flight?
So you're it should So it, let me open up mine really quick and see how I did that. Hold on. All right, so if I go to, luckily that one's on my iPad. Test flight.
Meighan, if we click on the second one, do we get a notification like "Welcome to Publisher Playground"?
So when you install from the Google Play Store one,
No, in iOS. In iOS.
in iOS, so you'll install the first one from the iTunes store, and then the second one, not sure where the link is. Let's see. Hold on one second. I'm gonna bring up the. Let's go here and do iOS. Salesforce will tell us. As you can tell, I'm not a big iOS user. So outside watching Hulu, I'm sorry. Most of my devices are Android. Awesome. So you can scan this QR code. There you go. And that should get it installed for you. And that is on the very first link in the Quip document sent out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, the first one I've done. I've installed the test flight.
Okay. And you should be able to scan from test flight this QR code.
Okay.
Yeah. Or no, that's to install the playground. Yeah, that's the playground app. Perfect. Yeah. Perfect. So if you want to scan that QR code, that should give you the playground app.
Okay. Yeah, I've come to reach the Publisher Playground, and it's there is a community URL.
Oh, perfect. And if you want to just stop there for right now, we'll get to that part later.
Yeah. Okay. I'll just stop here.
Perfect.
Okay.
Perfect.
Okay. Great.
Yeah. Right spot. Awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah. No problem. So I installed my Android one first, by the way, and then when trying to go through and doing the whole hoopla with the iOS one as well, I was like, why are there so many links? Where is all this stuff? I feel you. The next thing we are going to be doing is setting up the actual scratch orgs that we have. Now, again, I dropped that link into the chat to pull up the scratch orgs. I'm going to drop it in one more time. And that is this one. Awesome. So I'm going to click the link too. We'll get started together. Oh, well, my org's already ready because I clicked it earlier, but still. You guys should all have a little bar going across the top. And clicking a little, once you do that, you can click the launch button and it should open in a separate tab.
You know what, Meighan? That's taking us all to the same scratch org.
Is it?
Yep.
Well, that's fantastic.
I think you're going to find if you go into communities that I already created the community. And I have
I'm going to drop you all this link and hopefully it'll get you different scratch orgs. If you want to click the scratch org button. Hopefully it's because I had an ID tied to it of some sort. And I'm going to try clicking it again and we'll find out. Oh, yep. 46. Were you 46 already? 45. Perfect. Yeah, that link brought me to a new one. Awesome.
Yeah, I was 45.
Yep, I'm 46. Perfect. That did it.
So there's a different link that people have to click on, or?
Yeah, it's a different link. I shared the actual link from the scratch org one. I'm dropping this into the, it's the one that I just dropped into the chat. I'm so sorry, you guys. You're good at 45, Mr. Jim Ray. You keep that org. I'll go with 46. That's my fault for having shared the link to create a scratch org for my clicking. I should have just sent this one. I made everybody click it themselves. I didn't know it would tag it that fast. I thought it was going to make it open the page first.
So when I clicked on launch, I get a different view. I don't see this deploy into a Scratch org or this one. But I
So
get
when you
setup.
click on launch, it should take you to a Salesforce org.
It's I'm in a setup page.
Right. That's what it should be when you click launch.
Okay.
Did you click the create a Scratch org from this page here? That's the link I just posted in the chat.
Okay. One moment.
Yeah, you'll want to use that one. I'm so sorry. That was my mistake. I posted a bad link.
Okay.
I gave you mine. I'm sorry.
I'm just clicking on it now again.
Thank you.
I think it's the same place I'm going. I don't see the.
So did you end up on this page? And you had it, what number do you have here?
Okay, what is the username I'm getting is custom platform 9499 dev.
Perfect. Yeah, it's a different one, so that's a good spot. Yeah. As long as it's not the same as the one that I had just had, we're in a good place since I'm the one that shared the link.
That's the same one I have, Megan.
945.
9499.
Where did?
He didn't give you the username. He gave you the
Oh,
name. Customer platform 9499 is the one I have.
Yeah, it's the same I have as well.
so when you click on, so if you exit out of the org that you are in, exit out of the orgs that you're in, and then click on this link here that I just posted, the one at the very bottom,
Okay, I'll do
and
that.
then click on Scratch org. Thank you, Jim. Good catch.
I just want him to get the whole experience and not get the one
Right.
that I'm already going through. So
No, you're good. You're good.
So yeah, now I'm getting to deploying to Scratch org, right? Or do I have
Perfect.
to log in?
Perfect. Now you should be able, once that's finished deploying, you should be able to click launch.
It's taking a little time. Just
Okay, all good. We got time. So how many of you actually have communities that you are working with currently?
it's a
I'm
first
working
time
with a
experience for
community.
me.
Okay,
Yeah.
very nice. I like it. Communities are my favorite. So you're in for a treat. A lot of information.
we know Mario does, even though he's not talking.
Right.
Yeah, I'm. Yeah, we're here. I'm here. Actually,
Welcome.
I'm trying to get onto my other laptop. I'm trying to do this on my work laptop, and I'm getting a lot of firewall type,
Oh, no.
blocking. Yeah, so I'm gonna flip over and see if I could do this on my laptop.
All
on my
good. All
home
good.
PC. But I'll try to follow along at least. And
Yeah, you can always go back later and check it out too. The docs are going to stay available until they close quit or they make me take them down from being public. So yeah, you're good.
And luckily, you know the
Yep.
instructor, Mario. So if you need
Right.
a redo.
yes.
You can always
Yeah,
do this
definitely.
again. And Jason, I am bummed that you don't get to be playing along right now too, because it's fun, but at least you get to do it later. So let's see here. All right. So is everybody that is following along within an org now? And they have they went to create their org from this page, which by the way, really quickly, you all, just because I don't want anyone else to end up clicking on the wrong link, I'm going to quick post this one up for everyone else so nobody else clicks the wrong one. I'm so sorry. Then we'll jump back, I promise. But I just feel bad. Let's do, okay, this link. There we go. All learning together. Publish. There's no way I'll ever have enough time in this life to learn everything. So I'm good with that. It makes it fun to learn something new every day. Okay, so now we're in the community. Now we're in Salesforce and in Salesforce setup. And it takes you into Lightning setup for anyone that is confused about what this look is. It's the setup that is slower. And because you probably haven't memorized it yet. So if we go to the quick find and type in communities, there's going to be this link here that says all communities. You want to click on that. And you'll notice that we don't have any communities created. So we're going to make a new one. And the way that you create a community is clicking the new community button. Now you can use pretty much any template you want to create a mobile publisher community. But in this case, we're going to be creating a partner community, and we're going to want to click on Partner Central down here. Now, the difference between the different templates, for those of you that are curious, what a template does is a template decides what are those pre-selected components out of the box, as well as the pages that come with my community, for your object pages, your contact support, etc. Selecting each one of these different templates gives you a different set of pages with different objects, as well as different components are available to you. So when you're building a community, keep that in mind and make sure that you're finding out, is that functionality that I need available in the template that I select? For mobile publisher, you can select any of them for the most part. I have to check on some of the older templates like the Aloha and the other one that starts with A. It's no longer one that you can pick out of the box right away. But all the new templates you can definitely use. And we're going to click Get Started. Now this community that we're using, that we're going to create, the community is going to be called Dealers. And 99.999% of the time, I would have you add something to the end of your URL. We're not going to do that today because I didn't practice it that way with the mobile publisher app, and I don't want any surprises. But the suffix, also known as the prefix in Salesforce that you put at the end, is what makes it so that you can have a number of different communities and that they're all on the same domain within Salesforce. So if I wanted to have a community for my employees, a community for my partners, a community for my developers, a community for my customers, I would have a customers, employees, partners, developers, and put that at the end. They have a pilot going on right now so that in your sandboxes, you can test having a custom domain. But currently, out of the box, only production orgs let you actually have a custom domain. And your custom domain is what lets you set it so that you have a subdomain plus your domain and make it look all pretty instead of being one of these, wacky Salesforce URLs or something with .force.com in your URL. Fun facts about URLs. We're going to hit create. So what this is doing right now is it's setting up our community. And we are going to get the Partner Central community that will have the Partner Central theme. A theme is kind of like the skin on your community. And my favorite analogy, don't laugh at me for this one, is to kind of think of a community like a Winamp. If you remember Winamp back in the day, I know that kind of dates myself, but your actual Winamp version and whether or not you have the ability to watch videos on it when video came out or not is kind of like your template. And then your skin, whether or not you're going to go with one with kittens or puppies or Hanson or Metallica, that's your theme. And then each of those little modules that you could move around and make it so your Winamp went across the screen this way or it was vertical, those are the different components that make up Winamp. There's the different lightning components you can use within your community. Fun ways to compare communities back to when you had like Windows 95 or Windows 98. Next step that we are going to do is go into our community builder. This space that we're in right now is called the community workspaces. And you have your builder where you actually build stuff. Moderation, you do exactly that. Content management is one of my favorite areas over the past few releases as they've started to add more and more to Salesforce CMS. The CMS functionality with native CMS, CMS Connect, and the Salesforce CMS has just gotten fantastic. You also control your topics here and topic assignment to articles. Gamification, dashboards, administration is where you have a bunch of settings that aren't found under security or your sharing settings or community settings or here or here or here. Community settings are in a lot of different places, so keep that in mind. But let's jump into Builder. All right, so you're gonna have this pop up. Just click the little X and make it go away. And we are actually going to play with that theme concept that I mentioned before by changing our theme on this community. Now, Salesforce has a number of different themes out of the box. Before to change your theme, when it first came out to have themes, you would either have to write a custom theme or you would have to go to then you could go to the App Exchange and install what they call a lightning bolt. But then Salesforce, not even probably about a release later, came out with out of the box themes. And this is done within our branding panel. So you have a few different items here to the side. You have what I call your lightning bolt. Very creative naming. This is where you hold your components. You have your theme. This is the branding panel. Your page structure. So when you click on this, the whole page and all the components on your page are held inside of here. Well, they're held on your page, but you can see them inside of here, where they're located and how to find them. This is extremely helpful when you are, using custom components. Sometimes one of them may disappear if you were testing it before it was ready. Or if you just want to know where is everything, because I've got a giant page and a bunch of tabs, and this can help you there. Then you also have if we're on one of these workshop calls, again, what I call the side gear. This is where you have your settings, everything from your Google information for your Google Analytics to whether or not you have your Lightning Locker service on, the way that you export themes and templates for lightning bolts. All of that information is held in here. So it's yet another place to find more settings for your community. So as I said, we're going to change our theme. So we want to click on the branding panel, the second one down. By the way, I call this the side gear because you also have a gear up here on top. And this is what shows you your list of pages. And these pages, again, vary based on the template you select. But they've done some really cool stuff with Summer, where you now have all your objects within a single header. Love that. So snazzy. I just think it's so cool. Okay, changing our theme. Sorry, I get excited over features. What we are going to do here is swap this one out, and we need to click on change theme. And the theme that we are going to be changing this to is our Stella theme. So you'll notice in here, I have my chat open. You have your Stella theme, Cypress, Jepson, and way down at the bottom is where you're going to have your Partner Central. These themes, like I mentioned, they're just the skin. They have no functionality that comes with them. They just kind of change that look and feel of your community and give it a look that doesn't match the out-of-the-box template. So we'll click on Stella. And then the next step is to just activate theme. One other thing that Salesforce did recently was they made it so that when you change your theme, all of your work doesn't go away. It was so exciting. So it used to be if you changed your theme, all the configuration you did on all your pages, all the custom pages that you made, they would vanish and disappear. And so changing your theme was a really, really big deal. That doesn't happen anymore. So while you're building, if you want to try out a few different looks and feels, you can swap your theme, no worries. All right, next up. Next thing we want to do is we actually want to change one of our images. So if we jump back over to that quick documents, I have a link to that image. And if you just want to click on it and download it. And then click back. And once you have that image, we are going to be changing our logo for the community. So when you build a community, there are tons of different components that are out of the box that come with images. And they all have different size requirements and different resolution requirements as well. So keep that in mind too. Sometimes when you switch your theme, you end up switching and finding out that some of your images don't line up for like your header image or your logo. Easy change though. So when we go back into our community, we're going back to that branding panel, the paintbrush, and we are going to click on images inside the branding panel. And you'll notice we don't really have a logo that's noticeable. Well, it is on the header, but we can't see it here. And we're actually just going to click the logo again and then click upload image. And this is where we upload that same image we have. Awesome. Any questions so far? My computer always spins when I upload it, when I have to open files. So I'm going to pause sharing for a second to see if that'll speed it up. Questions?
We're just following you, Meighan. So
just follow along. Yep, we're doing the same stuff that I'm doing. So, yep, I'm just going through the document step by step.
It is quite exciting for me. In fact, first time I'm actually looking at the community page build process.
Nice. So it's pretty cool, the whole community builder interface, in the fact that it's all drag and drop. You know, the fact that Salesforce was able to build something so easy to use for anyone, really. Not just admins, but admins, developers, etc. And I still have a little pinwheel, but yeah, I love communities. I started working with them about 6.5 years ago, and you know, if Salesforce wasn't love it first, login communities sure were. And I've loved them ever since. It's such an exciting side of Salesforce. You have that entire view where you're going to build cool functionality and think about everything that's out there, what's going on with, security and in the data model, your platform, identity and integrations. But now you're taking it to this whole nother level and you're adding in the UI UX side to an extent that is so much further than you ever thought you'd go with Salesforce. I mean, I built my first portal back in like 2011, 2012. And when you built a portal, you had what? A couple of items that you got to pick out of a box, and you got to pick a color. So it's come so far, and it's so much fun to play with, and it's so exciting to build. I don't know, it's what I do in my free time after work too, is sit around and play with communities. I love it.
Great to know your experience and your, the journey to see the product develop, in front of your eyes.
Right. I'm really quick gonna just force to quit my Chrome and jump back in there because I can't get it to stop spinning. I don't know what I did, but we'll fire it back up. I don't have to leave any of you. Zoom's not running on Chrome. All right. Welcome, Anthony.
Sorry I'm late.
Oh, you're good, dude. My Chrome just froze in the middle of uploading an image, so I'm just reopening Chrome. Very exciting time to join us. It's not a live workshop or live anything without a technical difficulty. Good times. So I am going to drop to you a couple of links, Anthony, and I'm going to drop you the right links. So, and then I want to get you this one too, the Quip document. Awesome. All right. So that one will take you to the full page, and then I dropped you the link to the Quip document for the workshop. And we just got to the point where we created our orgs. We got into those orgs. We made a community. We were switching out an image in the community. And then we're moving on to our next step. And yep, we'll be there in just a second. Chrome's restarting.
Awesome stuff.
Yeah. All right, close that. Doesn't follow along with my iPad for the instructions, so I don't have to keep hopping tabs and making everybody dizzy. We've been going over some fun facts about communities too as we go. So what clouds do all of you work in? What's your favorite cloud, everyone on the call? Anyone else have favorite clouds now that I've rambled on about mine?
For me, Prasanna here, I've been, more exposed on the Sales Cloud. I have a more, I think, exposure on that only.
Okay.
And since I have had quite a lot of domain experience, I would say I've been a salesperson for more than 12 plus years. So maybe that's where I got an interest towards Sales Cloud first. And
Gotcha.
and I'm working as a admin and analyst, a business analyst here in Toronto.
Very nice. All right, so we're gonna switch over and use Safari now because apparently my Chrome's just not cooperating.
But I've had interest in Marketing Cloud and Community Cloud as well. So maybe it's time for me to learn the Community Cloud in much deeper level.
So I haven't used Marketing Cloud very much. Way back when they first got Exact Target, as in Salesforce first acquired them. So I did get one of they actually used to have dev orgs for Marketing Cloud. And I know they don't now, but that was my only real exposure with Marketing Cloud that I've set up Pardot, but totally different than Marketing Cloud. So
the template build creation, what we have in Marketing Cloud, I think even it's similar to what I'm seeing here, where you can drag and drop the images and
yeah,
I think similar.
very cool. So one thing that I noticed in the release notes, there was quite a bit about communities in Pardot that came out for winter 21. A friend of mine brought that to my attention. And I'm very curious because I don't have Pardot or access to Pardot, but I want to know how it all works. And you're just kind of in one of those situations where you never get to learn when they don't share it with you. And it's not going to be something that you get to play with. So if anybody here has Pardot and has seen some of that new email template stuff for specifically communities with Winter 21 and Pardot, let me know. I'd love to see it, or at least hear about it. Just totally piqued my curiosity. But so once you all have that image loaded, and I'm sorry, I'm actually having to start a new org for myself. The next step is going to be to change your header for the hero unit and to change the size of that, which is one I really wish I was screen sharing for. So we'll wait a minute and wait for this org to generate and then get into that. Okay, it's at 40% complete. It just seems to be waiting. Again, gotta love it when you go live. So, what else? What's everyone been learning about lately? Anyone got anything cool that they learned from Winter 21? Any fun features surprise anybody or break anything? Or all of a sudden resolve an issue that you thought you were going to have to build custom? I had that happen with list views.
We had to fix issues in our org because of the Winter 21 Aura enabled things. So I know in Visualforce you had that access control, but then like in Lightning, I mean, they didn't have those security controls, so we had to fix that.
Gotcha. So I was going to have to build custom a way to export from list views in a community, but that came out in Winter 21, so I was really excited. Now, I did have issues with Summer 20 and the way things ended up, but Winter has been smooth so far. I was ready for all the security changes. Oh, and it's making me open this in Classic. Awesome. Apparently my Safari does not like Lightning. All right, I am almost to where you all were. I'll actually share my screen so Anthony can see where I am. Anthony, I'm quickly building a community and I am going to just jump in and switch my theme once this is created. Make this larger, so it's not all smushed up in the corner. I just couldn't get Chrome to relaunch after I killed it. So I'm gonna build this, I'm gonna leave swapping my logo since that didn't go well last time, but I'll resize my header just in case it freezes again.
So, Meighan, I'm just going to ask for one question, but
Go
that's
for
nothing
it.
related to communities.
Ask as many questions as you want, man.
So, but we're working with files and reports, especially with files. So, like I know that there is file and content report. Is there any alternative except that?
So so what type of report are you looking at? There's the usage of files report. There's a content files report. There are a few, and I know I still owe you some documentation too from 2 weeks ago that I need to send you. They actually have in a folder. I should just share that OneDrive folder with you.
Sorry, Meighan. Is it report types?
Files,
are you talking about report types?
No, I'm talking about actual reports that you can build. Well, they come in the community package, so that you can just easily put it together. And then you can clone them, drop them into a folder for community users. But they come in that out of the box community reports package.
We
Well, the
built
App
the,
Exchange Community Reports Pack Exchange.
yeah, I have the community management package, but so here is the thing, right? So now,
Yeah.
so I have these files a related list. I mean, added to a custom object. So
Okay.
I'm looking to get a report of all of that. Like,
Oh,
y-
okay. That
yeah,
kind of files report.
and there's no way.
No,
And
I don't. I can't think of off the top of my head, and I don't think they're available in the custom report type to choose from.
correct,
Are
yeah,
they?
yeah.
Yeah. Can you choose content document in custom report types?
Nope, not that.
Now you
You
get
can't
something to
build one, right? It's like that's the
right.
thing.
Is there a package on the App Exchange for files reports by like Salesforce Labs?
Oh, is it? Let me look.
Maybe, like, just an idea. Like, that would be my next place to look. Did maybe Salesforce Labs come out with a package? They
Yeah.
always come out with all sorts of stuff that you can't find that's somehow available only to them that you can install because they're magic.
Well, there's an idea on the Idea Exchange to be able to do exactly what you're describing, a report of all the files related to a record.
Yeah.
Of course.
Because it's content documents and because there's restrictions on the way the queries work, they
Right.
probably
Well,
won't do that.
such a messy query. I mean, just loading content documents. We had to load like 300 images on this project that I was working on. And like 2 of us sort of instructions for this guy on my team. And he calls me up and he goes, "Will you just load them with me?" And I was like, "Absolutely." And then we started. And then he's like, "Oh, I have to have a Windows machine to do this." I'm like, "Oh, that's right. You're on a Mac." And so then we found somebody with Windows. I just wish there was an easier way to load images and files as a whole. Files are a pain. Yeah. Not my best friend. Oh. But maybe if I got to know them better, we'd get along more. Let's see if I can refresh this page and see if it'll load. And I only have like 5 tabs open. Show you something going on with the security. Hold on. Of course. Chrome's just like broken now. Right. Well, there's a thing that says settings for the website. Hold on. Oh, that's not helpful. There's preferences and security. Oh, good times. I'm gonna quick pause the recording so nobody else has to ever watch this. There we go. Okay. Anyone know how to work the Safari security settings? No? Okay. I don't either. I hope that's good. Let's try reloading. Let's turn something on. Oh, awesome. Come on. No. I'm just trying to launch my Chrome. Oh, it thinks it's open, that's why. One more second, you guys. I'm so sorry. I can't seem to get it to force quit. I do love going live. Yeah, other than files, any other questions or any more questions on files?
I'm thinking maybe like I can build sort of using the reports API anything to do with files, because we use files significantly, and this is one of the biggest drawbacks I see.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see
So
that.
yeah, you can't, even on the content version, right? You have fields. Salesforce wouldn't let you use those fields also. Like there is no like related record ID or any of that. It just gives you like 4 fields that you can like the downloaded by and all of those things. Yeah, it is what it is.
This
So what's your use case for using files, and why do you use them so much? Are you trying to track like who's downloading them and
Yeah.
or opening them? Okay.
So
so if you want to track who's downloading them and opening them, that customer 360, not customer 360 truth from Dreamforce, but other customer 360 does that. If you want to check on the community side.
So you're talking about customer 360, the product, right? The customer 360.
No, I'm talking about the customer 360 checkbox inside community workspaces, not the product. The product is customer 360 truth. I'm talking about regular customer 360.
Yeah. So I asked
What's
about it to one of the Salesforce person. They told me that it only tracks the last 10 or 20 interactions or something like that.
Oh, yeah, okay. Oh man. All right. Oh,
Yeah,
there it is.
I had somebody.
Sorry, Mario. For a
Yeah,
customer,
I had somebody else. Oh,
Go
go
ahead.
ahead. Sorry. Oh, because you know, that kind of raised, because somebody asked me something similar, that if they could, you know, would they be, if we stored a lot of our marketing materials and we allowed our dealers to access it, could I see who could track that? And I couldn't find anything on that through a community. We were trying to figure that out, but this was raised about a year ago.
Yeah, and there's also just like the sheer number that you can track with the out of the box report, but it doesn't tell you names. And then
yeah,
I'm gonna be right back, you guys. I have to reboot to kill this Chrome. I'm so sorry, it just won't let me do anything. I'm gonna quick write down my login and password though, so that I can get back into the same org and I have to rebuild again.
and Megan, I'm from Houston, so
thank you.
We won't kill the session or anything.
Amazing.
For one of the one client that I had, just to be back to your files tracking, we actually implemented it by using Knowledge, and we attached the files to Knowledge instead, and then we overwrote the standard view with a custom component that logged the interaction to a logger, and that gave us every metric, every file, who downloaded it, when they downloaded it, did they come in from the community, which at the time was the portal, or internally. That was a long time ago. We did that with Visualforce Page and some JavaScript, but that's another way you might be able to solve your use case if you have knowledge.
Yeah, and okay, that might be a way. So basically, just create a knowledge article and attach a file to it, and when somebody says click on it, we can get the metrics to the knowledge.
Yeah, we overrode the view. Exactly, we overrode the view for the knowledge article, so when you clicked on it, it actually, well, actually, we overrode the search for knowledge articles too, because we also tracked all of the keywords that were searched and who exactly was putting in those keywords, because they wanted a lot of metrics on, this other client wanted a lot of metrics on who was getting what out of the portal.
Okay.
We can
yeah. And then just speaking of Winter 21, we found something did break. Speaking of Salesforce Labs, we did use a Salesforce Lab component to put a copy component, and I think that was the only thing we didn't test in the preview sandboxes. And you know, now that they've released it, basically Salesforce Labs said, "Oh no, yeah, that's up to you to fix that." And we're like, "Ah, great." so that was I was like,
what
I
did
think
it-
that was the first time we ever had something like from Salesforce Labs that actually broke. I'm like, man.
We had a lot of clients that got hit by the whole external user access to Aura enabled classes.
Uh-huh.
I
Oh,
helped a
yeah,
lot
yeah.
of people with the guest permissions that changed online when those changed with summer. I remember that was a big one, and it caused a lot of communities to go down. I spent a lot of time on the phone for that.
Yep.
Oh, okay.
We're back, everybody. We're back. And I'm in Stella, and I'm back in Chrome. I'm so sorry for that delay. I really appreciate everyone's patience. And you all are amazing. Thank you. Thank you so much. But I'm just, so I think it's really good though, really quick on the guest stuff. I know that people got hit hard, be it with the Aura enabled or the, the sharing changes or having to, lock down your objects or having the block on standard profiles unless you check a checkbox. I'm just really glad it happened though. The number of times that I saw that a guest had the ability to do so much in an org, it had so many superpowers, just made me so nervous. I don't think everybody realized just how many powers were out there that guests had. Especially with the fact that to get to a guest profile, it's not in the normal profile list. It's way over in here. And that drives me crazy. That should be an idea of the ID exchange to put the guest profile with the regular profiles. I think I
that
have
one,
footage from
like you
that one.
said, that one doesn't appear in the regular profile list.
Yeah.
The only other way you can get to it is from setup. You can go to site settings or something like that and get to it from inside of the site settings, which is a pain.
Oh, for real, it really is. The next thing we are going to do, so make sure we've got more stuff to talk about for the next time my computer crashes. The next thing we are going to do is we are actually going to make a couple of changes within our builder here. So you all have switched your logo. We're pretending I switched mine. And we're actually going to change our layout width. And so what we want to do is go into our paintbrush here and go to our theme settings. And this is where you can actually set your max page width. And setting your max page width, for those of you that may have had a community or have seen a community back before they became full width. So when you click the button, you'll notice that your community is the max page width. If you actually have it checked, what you can do is you can resize your community. And all of a sudden, things get more narrow. If you had a community before, you may remember that there used to be a lot of white space on the sides of your community, depending on the template that you had back before there were themes, and even with the customer service template currently. So what we're going to end up doing is just unchecking this checkbox to make sure it's going to be full width. All right. Now, the other thing that we want to do is we want to change some of our colors. This community's boring, out of the box colors. We want it to be way more fun. So if we go to our colors, we are going to set our action color. And let's make this one 85, and then 134, and then 171. There you go. So now we got a nice light, pretty blue instead of all that black on the screen. It stands out a bit more. And what we want to do next is one other thing about communities is you may notice I'm never hitting a save button. And all of this is saving on my side inside the experience builder. But if you logged into my org, you could see it too. My experience builder is your experience builder, is, you know, another admin's experience builder, is a developer's experience builder, is anyone internal's experience builder. We're all sharing the same view. However, if a customer logged in, they're not going to see what I am doing until I hit this publish button. But that publish button is pretty important. When you're doing deployment and you're setting things up, or you're making changes and you're rewriting your text, don't hit the publish button until you spell check, till you've gone back through, till you make things look good. Just as soon as you hit publish, that is alive and out there for everybody to see that has access. All right, so the next thing we want to do is work on our navigation bar and expose some objects. Now these ORs already have objects, so we don't have to create them. And so we want to go in here, and we are going to go and we're going to go to our top gear, and we want to click on new page at the bottom of the list, which is the big blue button. And then from here, we want to click object pages. So you have two types of pages here, standard and object. An object page comes with 3 pages: your detail, your related list, and your list page. A standard page is just a single page, and you pick from a variety of different layouts. But we're going to click on object. And the object that we want to add here, so we're going to add dealer location. And so if you start to type in deal, and that'll come up, and click create. You're also going to have 3 new object pages coming up. And you can click, I don't need to see this again. And then down at the bottom, you're going to click create. All right. So that's going to create all 3 of those pages for us. Now, this one is not in the instructions, but I have a personal pet peeve with the standard page layout. So we're really quickly going to fix that. We don't have data in here, but what you would find out is this related information component. It just assumes that you have chatter enabled for this object. You may not, or you may not want to expose chatter on this object. Either way, we don't like this. So we're going to click up on our top gear, and you'll notice that dealer location is highlighted. We're going to scroll down where it says a layout here at the bottom. We're going to click the change button. And this brings us to the options that we get with a standard page for our page layouts. Now, one thing that you're going to notice off the bat is that that really cool layout way up at the top is going to tell you it's not available because it's new and you wanted to try it. It's not available because it's an object page. The reason it's not available is because this page already had a non-flexible page layout. If you just went to make a new layout for this page instead of changing it, you can actually choose flexible layout, just so you know. But we're not going to choose flexible layout. We're actually going to choose 2 columns, 2:1 ratio, which is the last one on the first row, and click change. So now that we have our new page layout, you're going to notice how things have readjusted a bit. The first thing we want to do is take our record banner and drop it into content header, which is the section. Now, you're going to have 2 different headers, by the way, in your templates for some of them. Well, I should say for some themes. If you have a template header persists across all of the pages of that page layout. So if you have a record page and you have a standard page, but I put something into the header that says this is my favorite record, or this is my favorite object, guess what? That's going to show everywhere if it's in the template header. So be very careful what you put in a template header. A content header is only on that one page. The other thing we are going to do is go to this record information tabs. We're going to hit the trash can. Goodbye, record information tabs. Then what we want to do is click on components. We're going to go here and we're going to type in tabs. We'll just drag that into content. Now we've added our regular detail tabs. This is a lot like building and Lightning app builder, you'll may notice. The next thing you want to go is go back to that lightning bolt and type in record. And what we're going to grab this time is record detail. You can drag and drop that into tab 1. It's going to say something went wrong, but again, that's just because we don't have any data yet. Then click over into tab 2 on your tab component. And we're going to go back to our lightning bolt. And you'll notice it stayed filtered with our text. And we just want to grab record related list and drag that one onto tab 2. Boom. Again, it's going to say something went wrong, but only because we don't have data. And then almost done. We now want to type in feed. And we're going to grab our feed publisher and drop it in the sidebar. And then go back to our lightning bolt and then just drop in feed right below it. Perfect. Last step for this page, I promised you all. And I know you're going to say, this lady just made me do this and it looks exactly like it did before. I promise you it is different. I promise you. We're going to type on tab 1 and go record and hit save. We'll click on tab 2 and type related and hit save, and then just delete tab 3. So now we have redesigned this page to no longer be a single column page, but a 2-column page with a sidebar. We've taken away the single component and put the detail, the related list, and the feed components on there. And now we're going to play around with our navigation. So we need people to somehow figure out how to get to these dealer locations, right? And the way they're going to do that is up here in your theme navigation. Now, depending on the theme you select, your navigation is going to be different. You may know the standard, customer service, AKA old school Napili template. It's got a search bar across the top and a navigation bar that goes way across in the middle. Some of them have teeny tiny little navigation bars and huge icons up on the top. But they all do the exact same thing. Their navigation, they take you via hyperlinks to different places on your site. So once we click on there, we're going to click on the edit default navigation. And then inside here, we're going to click add new menu item. And we want to get to our dealer location list. So dealer location list. Now you may notice this inside community page has an option to go to dealer location list, but we're not going to use this one. Why? The reason why is because when you use the community pages, it wants you to hard code an ID into your list. So if I click on it, look at that, it's telling me to write an ID in there. We all know that when we deploy, our IDs change org to org. And Salesforce is always telling us, don't hard code. We don't want to do that. So we're actually going to switch up here and go to Salesforce object. Now you may notice that this list has gotten much longer in winter than it used to be. You now have event. You also have system blanket here. You can do the ability to switch to log out and log in and go to community workspaces, go to community builder, go to Salesforce setup, and switch communities now. Those are 6 new items available in your navigation with Winter. But if we click on Salesforce object, you'll notice here's dealer location. And we actually have our list view names this time instead of having to put in an ID. When you deploy using the Salesforce object, you don't end up having to go back and reset all of your pages. They actually come over using the name and the URL instead. And we're going to just leave it on default. A couple of other things here. This publicly available. If you have a community that is a login only community and that has guest availability, or a purely unauthenticated community, when you click that checkbox, it makes it so the navigation item shows for people that aren't logged in. This community is login only, so we're not going to click it. But fun fact, that checkbox is on a number of your components. And if you are ever exposing a flow to community users that are guests, drop your flow on a tab component and click the checkbox. So I playing around community. I was trying to help a friend this past summer who is doing a Lightning scheduler. And we found that was the only way to get it to show in her unauthenticated community with the out-of-the-box components was to drop it on a tab component. I don't know if the flow components added a checkbox since, but it didn't have a checkbox this past summer release. But once you put it onto the public component, using the tab component with only one tab, then it was visible to the guests. Sneaky little workaround. And then we'll hit save menu. All right. Oh, actually, nope, we're gonna go back into our menu. I forgot, we don't want it to be located there. We wanna move it. Let's move this to being below our, where did I say to move this to? Let's leave this below marketing and then pull it in. There we go. I think that's good. Yeah. And then we also want to, let's see here. We also want to make sure that we have everything we need on our record list page. So when we go in, let's actually click preview. We click on marketing and then go to dealer location list. So one thing, and then let's hit back to builder. So another thing that is now available, that's right, I keep saying things that are now available. When I said Salesforce has been putting a lot of work into communities and into mobile publisher, they really have been putting a lot of work into these items. So what we want to do here is we want to click on this related list. And we actually want to deselect under header properties the show list actions. So when we have somebody that is going through and setting up a location for each hours of the day, we've actually made a flow. So we don't want them to use that out of the box button. That out of the box button is going to show on the recently viewed list, our default list, unless we deselect this checkbox. And then the other,
Meighan, can
go
you
ahead.
come back? I just lost you under the related.
So we went to preview and we went to the dealer location list.
Okay.
And then we came here and we're on the recently viewed and we deselected show actions list because Sorry, I was reading through I was reading the notes on the sheet. So we have the recently viewed list. So recently viewed is always going to show your out of the box buttons. It's just part of the out of the box functionality. It doesn't do what you want it to do when you want it to do it. But your custom list views do. They do a lot of fun stuff. But so we don't have any problems with people using those out of the box new buttons. We want to remove it. And that way we can ensure that on this list, they never use that out of the box new button. And we've got, because if we go to a different list, there's actually a different button available, but we're not to that part yet. So just uncheck the show list actions button. Yeah. And then the next step is going to be to search for the flow component. Oh, actually we dropped the flow straight on the page, my bad. And we're gonna drop the flow on the top of the page, right above the related list, or the record list, sorry. Now you got me saying related list, the record list. And we want this to be our dealer location setup flow. So one other thing about the community or the experience builder is that when you put a flow component in, only if you log in as a community user can you do a demo of that flow. So our flow component is always going to say it's a placeholder. That's okay. It just does that for internal users. It prevents you from accidentally creating data in your environment as a precaution. When you're building a community, you're building a community for users that aren't inside the experience builder, users that are logged in from somewhere else. So they don't show the flow functionality unless you are one of those users logged in. So you can log in via a contact to see it, but not just hop into the community itself. All right, now we're going to hit our publish button. And we are also going to check out our community. We're close, everybody, we're close. As soon as this is done publishing, we're going to be close. We've got one more object to add, an external object, just to show what all the mobile publisher can show. I might have been a little excited about what the mobile publisher could show with this workshop. So let's check out what it looks like quick, and just click on the little, this icon in the front, that's your community icon. So if you click on that, or in the front, in the upper left, here's our view of the community. You'll notice we're no longer in the builder. And if we go under marketing, we have our dealer location list. And, oh, actually the flow is showing. That's awesome. And you can enter information here. Says 23-4 test. Seattle, Washington. And then when we hit next, you can hit your locations. And it's open the same hours if you wanted to do a test run through. And it's open from 12 a.m. to, you can enter whatever times you want. I'm going to do 8 p.m. There we go. It did not like my 8 p.m. Oh, they have a dash in it. There you go. And next, boom. And now we have a record. So if we go to my locations, you'll notice I've got a pretty record in there. All right. Last object to add, if you jump back to your experience builder, everybody, Let's add one more set of objects, shall we? We're going to go here and go to new page. We're going to click on object pages. And this one's an external object that you will notice is called public rebates. And click create. So this object is actually connected via Salesforce Connect. So Salesforce Connect has two different ways that you can connect to it, either with an integration user or with everybody having their own login. When you use an integration user, one thing to be aware of is everybody sees the data that exists on that object if they have access to that object. There is no privacy settings. It's not in your sharing settings options. So if you're connecting to, let's say, a financial system, and you're looking at like somebody's bank account data, an integration user is something to really think about before you do it, because it's not something super easy to configure. I've actually done a project with external objects in a community in the way that actually I worked with the lovely Mr. Jim Ray on the call here on the project. The way that we configured the sharing was so exciting. We used a custom object to control the sharing. We had the object in the community for the external object, but you couldn't search for it. The only way to get to that external object was via the custom object it was linked to via a lookup field. And then we just used the standard share table on that custom object. I did a really fun automation hour on it. Very excited. Highly recommend checking it out if you like sharing settings and going through all the exciting stuff that has to do with sharing. But we have our external object here. We'll leave it as such. We're not going to change this page layout as much as it irks me. But what we are going to do is make sure that we have an ability to get to this page. So we're going to click on this one and go up here in our navigation and click on Edit Default Navigation. And we're going to click on Add Menu Item. And again, this is our rebates. Then we'll switch it to Salesforce Object. And we'll go to, remember it's called public $sign, or it's called rebates is the label. Public rebates, where is it? Yeah, public rebates, where are you? I'm not seeing it.
It's at the end, Meighan.
Oh, it's at the end, thank you. I'm like, it's in there, I know it's in there. And the option we're gonna keep is switching it from default to all. And what I noticed is this one actually goes here and the locations goes at the bottom. It's okay to have these in any order, but it was more so to show that you can have things, how to move them around on the navigation. And then we'll hit Save Menu. Awesome. And then the last step here is we're gonna go, well, we're gonna quick check and preview to make sure it's available. We've got everything on here. Awesome. Go back to our builder. And one other thing we want to do is we want to check on our rebate page. So let's quick go to preview and go to rebates. And let's view this page as mobile. So let's go click on our little computer sign and switch it to a mobile sign. Now, I mentioned before that you now have the ability to decide what to show within your mobile workspace and what not to. And we want to show this component within our mobile workspace. So we click the don't show message again. Okay. Let's make, oh, and I just clicked the link. Sorry, everybody. Let me go back to the list. Right. And I am going to click on the back to builder, click on the record component, and you'll notice this comes up on the side. You can now decide whether or not to show something on mobile or to hide it on mobile. We want to make sure that this is available on mobile and we don't want to hide it. So we're good here. And then our very last step is to hit the publish button. Awesome. So one thing to keep in mind is there's actually a big difference between what you have on your desktop or your web mobile and your mobile app. Your mobile apps keep you logged in. They also have branded icons. So if you want to have your company logo as your icon, I remember I went to a Salesforce Summit for Community Cloud a few years back before any of the mobile publisher stuff came out. And they talked about how Google Nest was a mobile publisher app. And that was pretty cool to me. I thought it was pretty awesome actually to think about something that you're using every day to be a Salesforce community. And I never really thought of it as a community, but it has that branded app. When I click on it, it's their logo that I click on. You also get push notifications when you are in a mobile publisher app. You don't get those from a desktop. You also have the ability to lock and unlock apps with a fingerprint or with your face. You don't get that when you go to a web app, the web login. And so turning your community into a publisher app, unlike regular mobile apps, it stays in touch with your community the whole time. As you're updating, your app is updating. You're not having to keep going back and republish or republish or republish. They're staying in sync. And so we're not going to be able to submit a listing, but we're going to go through and see what it looks like. So we're going to go.
Meighan,
Yeah.
just
Go for
a
it.
quick question. So just so I'm following. So is this what it's going to look like on a mobile app, or are we just saying that this is what's going to look on a mobile browser? I guess I got lost there because I was trying to follow.
Yeah.
I was trying to actually update my page.
Oh, you're good. You're good. So the screens themselves will look very similar to what you're seeing here. I mean, they may be they might be slightly different. The app itself that they're going into, you actually get to do your own branding. You get to load your own icons. You do get I think on the iOS app, you do load a separate icon for within the app as well. But it's more so the fact that it's tailor-made versus going, and the fact that you get notifications. You get a lot of additional functionality with the mobile app that you don't get with the browser.
Sure. Okay.
Yeah.
But right now,
this is what it'll look like. Yeah, it may be slightly different, but 90%, 95% it'll look like that.
But if I was in a mobile browser, this is what it would look like.
Right.
Correct? Is that what?
Correct. Yeah, they're pretty much the same.
Okay.
Yeah. You're not going to have two totally separate experiences, and that's the bonus. Yeah.
Right, and so we haven't really published to a mobile app yet. I guess that's what the main question was. We're not there yet. Okay.
Nope.
I thought I missed something because I was like, wait a minute.
You have not.
Okay.
You have not. No, you're good. And then one other thing to keep in mind is you can decide to have things not on the mobile app, but do have them show in the mobile browser. That was one of the items that we went to when we were clicking on the show in mobile publisher. That's not show in the browser, that's show in the mobile app.
Okay.
Yeah. So just something to keep in mind that the browser goes with this, and then the mobile app goes, because when you actually go into it that first time, I told it not to show me again, but it says mobile publisher specifically. It does not say mobile.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Yeah, you're good.
Right, thank you.
Yeah, no problem. All right. So next up, we're going back to that community workspace. And I recommend switching it back to desktop to do this if your icons get all wonky like mine did. I'm actually going to go here to do it. Yeah, go backwards. I'm going to refresh the page. My icons ate my corner. Workspace icon, community icon. There we go. Let's go to workspaces. So that was something new that just started happening too, that when I switched to mobile inside my builder, that it starts to eat my top quarter and that my icons don't come back. I don't know if that started happening to other people or if it's perhaps a setting I have. But good times. All right, so next up, we are going to go to our login and registration, which is one of our settings inside administration. Okay, so from here, click on login and registration. So these are some of your branding options, and these branding options persist from internal as well as, from your community for your publisher and for your browser. So the first thing that we need to do, though, is go down here and click this allow internal users to log in directly to the community. So this is required since we, as the people building the community, are going to need to log in from the community login page when we are setting up the mobile app. Then we're going to go and hit save. All right, then we're going to want to go back to where we viewed our community. You can also click here on settings, and this tells you your community URL. The only difference is you have to add /s to it at the end. So next step, we want to go and open our playground app. I'm going to grab my cord so I can plug my phone into my device and we can all watch me on my device. Hold on 1 second, I had it and I was playing with it and then I left the cord somewhere. So how's everybody doing? Everyone having fun? There we go, I got the cord. And I'm going to do this on my iOS device because I haven't set anything up on there yet. Very exciting. It's going to be new for all of us. I set up my phone last time.
Like Megan mentioned, I know I made an error when I got to this step, just ahead of you all. If you don't put the /s/ at the end of the URL in the publisher playground, what happened to me was the playground actually hung up and I had to uninstall it and reinstall it.
Oh no. Is that, I didn't realize that was what happened.
I just got the rocket, which is this kind of the icon for it, and it just sat there. I let it sit there for like probably 5 or 8 minutes and it never came back. I tried quitting and forced quitting and I could not get it to come back. So I actually uninstalled it and then I reinstalled it. And the good news is you reinstall the Test Flight app from the App Store and it seems to remember that you had the Playground app installed and it just says, do you want to update it again? So
nice.
It was a pretty quick process.
There we go. iPhone, iPad cable. There we are. All right. It's good to know. Yeah, no, the fun part, I don't know, I've had fun playing with this stuff. I think I must have set a couple up on my, gone through this process a few times on my phone. So it'll be, okay, so I guess I did plug you in. I'm trying the other port. All right, there you go. All right, it's plugged in, I heard a ding. All right, oh, awesome, it's making me upload. But no, it's been good, and I'm surprised about how far they've actually come for something that is in beta. Now, I know I mentioned before that it's regularly updating and it's brought up curiosity, but I mean, that you find me something I'm not curious about that I don't want to play with. I think that only heightened my curiosity and made me want to play with it more. And the fact that it goes so smoothly and it can do so much. I mean, we're connecting custom objects, a community. We have components on the pages. We have external objects, and we have, you know, Salesforce Connect set up. We're able to display all of that. I mean, I think that's pretty cool and exciting. I don't know. Call me crazy. Right. It's almost done. Downloading this update that is making my iPad do to share on Zoom. I wonder if my phone will go faster. I could do the phone one. Sorry, everybody. I didn't know Zoom had so much security. Should have known better. They're similar to Mario and his firewall issues. Now I'm hitting security issues.
How are you trying? Are you trying to run it from the?
I did the USB plug-in, and now it's making me install a security update on my iPad to do so.
Oh, bummer. I was going to say you should be able to do a QuickTime player of your device, and then you can just share.
Oh, I can plug it into QuickTime and do it. That's right. Okay. Share that way. Maybe then I won't make me do it. That's smart. All right. Good times. And QuickTime. All right. There's QuickTime and I do
Not
which
sharing.
one?
It's not sharing your screen.
Oh, hold on.
It says started sharing, but there's nothing. Well, at least for me, there's nothing but a black. There you go.
Yeah. Which one do I want to go to? QuickTime. Oh, I actually think it finished downloading the security thing. Hold on. Of course it did as soon as I went to switch. Yep, I connected. Let me reconnect. We should be all set on this one. If not, we're going to do the QuickTime thing. Perfect. It just dinged at me. Awesome. Where'd you go? Yep. I'm going to hit trust as soon as it tells me to. Otherwise, I should be able to log in on my iPad and just do this. Join the meeting twice. All right, we're gonna do the QuickTime thing. It's not popping up. All right. How do I do the QuickTime share?
So just put your screen sharing back on again. Open QuickTime up.
Yep.
And then say new screen recording.
Oh, new screen recording. Okay.
I think.
Yep.
And then it should say, and then click that little down chevron and say.
Oh.
It's not showing. You have the iPad plugged into your.
Oh, hold on. I just hit trust on the computer. Now it's gonna let me do it. Now I do. Now it's gonna let me connect to Zoom. Let me switch back. See this one. Ha! Can you guys see my device?
Nope.
It should be coming up. Oh, screen sharing is paused. Resume share. There we go. What about now?
Not me. Black screen.
It says it's sharing. Huh. Come on. Oh. Well, let's wing it together, shall we? Because that other one isn't pulling it up. Let's look at the screen and shit go through the Quip doc together. All right, this one's gonna be fun. If there are questions, let's go through it slow. Okay, everybody. So this part is gonna be kind of a pain. So once you open up your mobile publisher app, or your app on the device for the playground, you're gonna end up, and I'm gonna show my screen. I'll show you guys my screen this way. Here, super fun. Let's turn my camera. We'll go old school, shall we? Let me fix my hair a bit. Okay. I make no promises that I got ready for this event. Okay. Put my device up and do it that way. Okay. Zoom. And video. Okay. So you should have your app up and open. Hit cancel. So once you're here, this is where you're going to want to enter your information into this box here for your URL. Awesome. And that's the one that we found within our community administration area at the very top. And I'm going to do screen share again and show you where that was. Under settings, and we're going to want to add a /s. So they're long ones. And make sure you add that /s. I know it sounds like a broken record, but been there, done that. Now, if you have an Android device, it's totally fine. If you don't have the /s, it gives you a warning. Or at least my new phone did. And maybe someone else noticed that iPads like auto correct while you're trying to type in weird combinations of letters and numbers, and it's not what you wanted it to do. It's like an Apple thing. Okay. All right. So once you have all of that entered, our next step is going to be to hit the button for continue. So does everybody have their URLs entered? I hope so. I'm going to hit my continue button. And I spelled something. I got a 1. All right. That's then going to take you to the login screen. So remember how when we all first started, we all got that screen on the launch screen with our credentials? This is where we're going to enter those credentials and that username and our password. So I know my username ended in 46, but I had to reboot. Mr. Jim Ray, what was the start of your username?
MobPub, MOBPUB,
Yeah.
then the number, and then at work.shop.
WRK.shop.
WORK.SHOP.
Perfect. Awesome. And, and all right. So, and as it says in the document, you are going to be asked to register your phone. Channel that inner 3-year-old and say, I don't want to. I love the humorous writings of some of these workshops. Now, once you enter that information, you'll be brought to your next screen, which is where your mobile publisher is going to be asking you about going into the Salesforce and whether or not you want to give it access. Hit the allow button. Awesome. And then you're going to get a cool rocket ship that comes up surrounded by dots. And you are then going to actually be inside your mobile publisher community. So that's your community inside the mobile publisher app and what it's going to look like. You've actually created a mobile publisher app and can view how to look inside mobile publisher and play with it. So we spent more time setting up our community than it took us to actually publish. Just like it will in real life, you're going to spend so much more time building your community than you will publishing your community, getting your requirements together, working with the business, making sure you have all those details, going through upgrades and improvements before you ever, or versus how much time it's actually going to take you to publish it. And you'll notice that all that information that we had in our navigation bar is now available. If we click on rebates from the navigation, that's actually inside of our mobile publisher app. And I'm on a tablet, so mine actually, I'm going to show you what a tablet looks like, everybody, versus a phone, because it's exciting, because it looks more like my desktop than anything. Switch back to start video. And you'll notice here that because I'm on a tablet, you can actually see the list just like on the desktop. Very exciting. Who's got questions? What's everybody thinking so far? Or what did everybody think about making a mobile app? How'd it go?
Very cool.
Sounds pretty cool to me. Wish I was
Right?
That was pretty straightforward.
Right? The mobile app is like the easiest part.
I will say
Yeah.
one thing that's, when you're using all standard layouts, I think everything works pretty well as far as being responsive and reflowing of the different form factors. When you do any custom stuff, then you got to make sure you have it set up right.
And if anybody wants to see what custom layouts look like, I do have some custom layouts on my GitHub. If you wanted to install those just to see kind of what they look like on the mobile app. I threw them into my first one that I did and played around with them.
Embedded visual force pages, you have to watch out how those behave as well.
And don't forget that the Lightning data table isn't mobile responsive. That one's not mobile yet, and it's such a big component. It's such a big part of everyday life. Once you start going custom and you leave behind your everyday out of the box, some of the Salesforce components that are available to you, absolutely. Salesforce is thinking mobile first, but not everything is mobile yet. So make sure you test on your mobile devices and test on an iOS device and an Android device, a tablet and a phone. Yeah, absolutely. Oh, and look, it's updating my iPad that's no longer attached. How awesome. Um, sorry, soon just started that security install again to a non-existent device.
And the and one thing that's cool, I would point out to everybody is the when you make changes in the community, they immediately become available in the app.
Yeah, you don't have to republish to do that. It's a right away thing.
Because I had
Or
not
republish your
your,
app.
your little extra thing where you changed the layout of one of the objects.
Right.
I had not done that, and so I saw what it looked like, and then I put that in, and literally I navigated to the home screen and back to the page, and then I had the two tabs, and the feed view flowed down to the bottom because it was shorter, smaller form factor. So it
Right.
worked.
Nice. I love it. Awesome. So cool. So cool. Oh, I'm so excited, everybody. This was very successful despite having to reboot. I'm very excited. And then one other thing to think about is similar to how I said that when you are building your community, you have a number of images of different sizes. Your actual mobile publisher app takes in a series of images of different sizes too for posting on the store. And you have different images for your iTunes store than you do for your Android store. So make sure you talk to marketing about getting those images. Having been in consulting, I've learned that marketing makes a lot of these images. They don't always have that size available. So letting them know sooner than later is always a good thing. And because there are different sizes for iTunes versus the Google Play Store, get them all of the sizes up front and tell them the specific sizes. In those sizes, you will actually find, when we scroll back up, I'm just going to do the climby thing. And you click here on this top link and go to the mobile publisher information. They're available in here. I also have a link on my blog to a list of about 50 of the different components and the images that go with them. And I'll post that on the event page too, for what their resolutions are on those image sizes. And I added the mobile publisher images to that when I posted this event. Nothing like tracking all the images for components. I have hobbies, they're just Salesforce related. For the people on the call, how many of you are looking to make a mobile publisher app sometime soon or feel inspired to make one? I feel like I'm making a mobile publisher app sometime soon, or at least playing around with it again soon. I would love to get some really cool apps out there. I used to think about making a mobile app, and I had a friend that made a mobile app, my podcast co-host, a couple of years ago, and it was something very dreaded to him. It went on. And then lo and behold, it ended up being something that he could have done so much easier if mobile publisher would have been out. And he's actually a bit under the weather right now, but I was really hoping he could have been here so that he could have seen how easy it could have been. But super fun. I'll make him watch the video when he feels better. That's all right, Janine. I will absolutely send you the recording. Thank you all. Yeah, that's it. That's all I had.
Golf clap, golf clap, golf clap.